what is your role?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here. We have been watching a match between Greg Harada and Chris Robinson. The score right now is, well, that's
6-6.
That's actually a point of contention right now. And in fact, I wonder if Johnny's talking to Greg Harada right now. But we have technically a score of 6-6. What has actually unfolded is that we have been keeping score, and we were also at 6-6, just as the players were also at 6-6. But we've recently come to discover, because Pool Tracks has been doing our stats, come to discover that the score is actually already 7-6 in a race to 7. However, because Greg Harada failed to mark one of his games, and also we didn't track it. Maybe I was just relying on their beads too much.
Probably.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. We have come to find out that the score is actually 7-6, and it was unbeknownst to both players. I'm sitting here with Jerry Matchin, and we've been talking about this for the last 10 minutes.
Well, so you have all these things in play right now. So the players don't know what's going on, in our opinion.
I'm assuming, I don't know where he went.
The players don't know what's going on, that a game was missed. There's the whole contention about if you snooze, you lose, and that means simply that if you don't mark your score or pay your ball that you owe or whatever, it's your responsibility to do that, not your opponent's.
Yeah.
You've got issues potentially of good sportsmanship, assuming that your opponent knew that. And then the other issue that I just asked you, Daniel, and I'm still not sure, what is the role of the live stream here in this whole thing? Because you're not the referee.
No.
You're the broadcaster.
I'm not the referee, and I haven't been given any authority as you know, under the tournament guidelines or anything like that, or nothing was brought up in the players' meeting. There are times when players will come up to me, like in one pocket, or they'll come up to me and, you know, they'll ask me what the game count is, and I can only go by what we've you know, but only if they ask me.
Correct.
And say, hey, you've been keeping track of score, what's the score? But that's not to say that I'm not just going by what they've put up there already, or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because obviously it looks like we both made the same mistake.
Yeah, I'm
in this match.
When Johnny came to me, I was completely taken aback when he said that Greg had forgot to mark a score, because we're sitting there just rolling it along, and I think we asked the chat room, and I don't think they were able to come up with anything definitive until you went to the statistical arm of the broadcast and found out that in fact the bead was failed to be pushed over for Greg.
Yeah, so the players are taking a break right now, and actually Greg's taking a little longer break than I'm expecting, which means I think he's been informed.
You know,
and I wouldn't be half surprised if...
the only problem is going to be is how does that all come together? How does a concurrence occur?
Yeah, I wouldn't be all surprised if maybe he brings it up for contention right now and says, you know what, this game is over.
Yeah.
Can he rescind and say, look, I didn't keep track of the score, the game's over? Can he come back and say that now?
How would you prove it? How would you...
we have Pool Tracks is doing stats.
Well, again...
But Pool Tracks is totally unofficial as far as this is concerned as well.
Correct.
So Pool Tracks has really no...
The tournament director would have to be involved, and they'd have to probably come to you and ask you if there's a way to validate the score. Huh? Why are you asking that question?
What's that? Oh, wait. He's coming back. He's saying nothing. But Chris just asked.
And he's saying nothing to Greg. I feel like saying something.
This is awkward. No, but we can't say anything.
I know, but Chris asked us.
He asked us, but but he has now walked away from us, so he's not asking for that answer. I mean, look, I'm giving. It's almost like I feel like I'm giving Chris the free roll here, but technically we have to give him the free roll.
I wonder if I should say something to his mother.
Something to his mom?
Yeah.
It's up to you, man.
What do you think? What do you think about the ethical part of that?
It's up to you.
I am going to say something to his mother.
Okay. He's 16 years old, so Jerry's going to say something to his mom. Okay, so I hope you guys are all getting this, folks. You know, basically Greg lost count, and Chris lost count as well. But the loss of count was in Chris's favor, so now we are looking at a hill-hill match, which should really already be over. Now it's a question of how much authority do we have, and blah 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 blah. You know what? Yes, somebody in the chat room saying Chris should not concede, and in a way, Chris shouldn't concede. I shouldn't tell anybody unless asked about it. But then again, what authority do I have, and blah 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 blah. So, you know what? I think in the end, the responsibility falls on Greg and Chris to keep track of their games. It's a bad situation, yes, but hi, Dave.
Sorry, did you guys?
Dave Hama, tournament director, is here.
Yeah. So I heard you had a few problems here, a little bit of a issue.
Well, you know, what's happened is that we have a hill-hill match. The only confirmation that we have is because Pool Tracks happen to be doing stats on this match, just totally unofficial and totally random. But Greg did not mark one of his games. Yeah. I was following the beads, right. So therefore I did not mark one of his games. Chris did not make any mention of it. Greg did not make any mention of it.
Right.
Greg thinks it's hill-hill.
So how was it brought to the attention? What was
Johnny Kane came up and said, "Do you know that Greg failed to mark one of his games?"
Oh.
And basically said, you know, what does that mean? Does that mean if they go hill-hill that Greg has to play that extra game? I said, well, look, it's not for us to tell him anything because we're not official,
right.
And we've been following the same score too.
Right. And that's
however, I did get confirmation from Pool Tracks that the score was actually 6-5 at the time we found out.
No, absolutely. And what happens in that ruling is it's unfortunate we can't use that information because it's not on every table. If it was on every table, it would be something that would be used for everybody. But
right.
Since it's not for everybody, we can't just use it for this one incident.
No.
And you know, Greg was nice, and he asked what the decision was, and
Greg spoken to you already?
He came over and talked to me.
Okay, so what happened? Well, how did he find out?
Well, I guess maybe one of the guys caught him.
He went and took a break, and they told him immediately.
Yeah. And
so what did he say? What did you tell Greg?
Well, I told him the same thing I just said to you, is we just can't do, we just can't get involved.
Okay, hold on.
Talk to his mother. She doesn't want to Chris didn't know. Greg actually.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's up to them if they want to decide.
See,
that,
here we have
technically,
Chris Robinson has won this game
because of the spot and everything of that sort. But if there's a cooperation,
I feel so bad, but you know what? It happens, man.
But
so it's like basically I was just before you walked up, I said each player should be responsible for tracking their own games.
Yeah, absolutely.
End of story. You snooze, you lose. You've got to track your own games.
And you know, it's and that's kind of where we're at.
There's still more to come on this, by the way, because his mother may tell him, and he may come up to you and say that he lost the match. So hold on a minute on that.
Well, yeah, that's what we'll do. I mean, that is a gentleman's thing. This is a gentleman's sport, and if you are, if you know that you didn't know and you did lose, hey, shake hands and say, I lost the match and I didn't know it.
Right.
That's not nothing bad about that, But I'm sure Greg's really frustrated about it. But
okay, what's happening now? Is that Greg's dad or? Hold on a second.
okay. So they're gonna figure it out.
I think he's gonna come over. So we have a controversy brewing where the match technically was over, and Chris now wins the match, but Greg forgot to mark up a game, and he would have had 7 already. So they're meeting over there right now, and we're going to see what the end result is. Greg did forget to mark his bead. He forgot to mark it. We validated that, in fact, that did happen. So this is very interesting with POVPOOL and what their role is, and when should something be said, and so forth and so on. But it's going to get figured out. So what happened?
Well, we're still yet to find out. But why don't you tell me what happened? What happened when you talked to his mom?
His mother. I talked to Chris's mother since I know the family so well, and Chris's mother was keeping score, and she texted Chris in the match that Greg to mark a score. That's why Chris came up to us and said, "Did Greg forget to mark a score, or something like that?" So since I'm actually your guest, Daniel, so I can't stick my 2 cents into it, but I did talk to his mother because I know her to be a very fair-minded person and wouldn't want anything like that to happen. So they're talking to Chris right now, and
is he considering forfeiting so that Greg can advance?
I think he's considering forfeiting, yes. So, but I don't know how the tournament director, Dave Hemma's involved in it, exactly what he's going to do. I think he's going to stay clear of it unless both players come to him and agree that that in fact happened.
I see. So they both have to consensually. Okay. Okay. Or well, they don't have to, but that's basically the tournament director's call is going to be that.
Yes.
So it may very well end up. We may very well find out in about 10 minutes or 5 minutes that Greg Harada is going to advance.
We're going to find out probably in 2 minutes.
In about 2 minutes, yeah. Okay, so please stay tuned for that update. You saw Chris Robinson shake hands with Greg Harada after making that 9-ball combo. But it turns out that it may very well be Greg Harada's game in the end. So, wow, what a day this has turned out to be already. Meanwhile, Hunter Lombardo and Tang Ho. Enjoy.